The night sky of Lysithea burned red, not from its twin suns, which had set hours ago, but from the fires of war. Ships fell like shooting stars, trailing smoke and debris. Ambassador Talvin watched from the window of his office tower. His four-fingered hand trembled against the glass. The Vexthor had come, just as they had to 50 other worlds before. "How long do we have?" he asked. General Mora, her scaled skin looking pale in the emergency lights, checked her data tablet. "Hours, maybe less. The orbital defense grid is failing." Talvin nodded slowly. They had prepared as best they could. It wasn't enough. It was never enough against the Vexthor. The Vexthor ships looked like giant metal insects. Their hulls were black and sleek, covered in spikes and strange devices that glowed with green energy. They moved together perfectly, like a single mind controlled them all. Perhaps one did. "The evacuation?" Talvin asked. "We've moved 30% of the capital's people to the underground shelters," Mora replied. "The rest?" She didn't finish. They both knew. The rest would be taken, just like on every other world the Vexthor had attacked. Beyond the window, the first of the giant Vexthor harvesters broke through the clouds. It was massive, at least 5 kilometers long. Its shadow darkened whole city blocks as it descended. Smaller ships swarmed around it like angry bees. Talvin had studied the Vexthor for years. They followed the same pattern every time. First, they disabled defenses. Then, they landed their harvesters. Then came the ground troops, tall, silent warriors in metal suits that hid whatever they truly looked like underneath. They rounded up the strongest people for work camps. They stripped the planet of its metals, its fuels, its water. Then they left, moving to the next world, leaving behind only enough for the survivors to barely live. No one knew why they did this. No one had ever communicated with them successfully. 7 star systems had united to fight them, and 7 star systems had fallen. "Sir," Mora said, "you should go to the bunker now. The council is waiting." Talvin shook his head. "I'll send one last message to the Alliance. Maybe someone still listens." He walked to his communication station. As he prepared to record what might be his final words as ambassador of Lysithea, an alert flashed on his screen. The planetary defense system had detected something new. "General," he called. "What is this?" Mora hurried over, her eyes widening as she saw the readings. "Unknown ship, approaching fast from the edge of the system." She tapped the screen. "It's not Vexthor. The design doesn't match anything in our database." They watched as the long-range sensors tracked the newcomer. It was small compared to the Vexthor fleet, just one ship moving with incredible speed directly toward the battle. "Who would come here now?" Talvin whispered. "Everyone is running away, not toward this." The unknown ship suddenly accelerated, shooting past the outer Vexthor patrol vessels without slowing. It dodged energy beams with moves that seemed impossible. "Look at how it moves," Mora said, her voice filled with wonder. "I've never seen anything like it." As they watched, the mystery ship broke through the Vexthor blockade and entered Lysithea's orbit. For the first time in months, Talvin felt something he had almost forgotten: hope. Captain Eleanor Reese stood on the bridge of the UVS Defiance, her eyes fixed on the massive enemy fleet surrounding the blue-green planet ahead. Her ship was alone, but that's how she preferred it. Alone meant quick decisions. Alone meant no one to argue with her plan. "Status report," she said, her voice calm despite the danger. Lieutenant Weizhong looked up from his control panel. "Cloak is holding, Captain. The Vexthor don't know we're here yet." Eleanor nodded. The Defiance was Earth's newest and most advanced ship. Its special cloaking technology made it invisible to most sensors. For 3 months, they had followed the Vexthor, watching as these alien monsters destroyed world after world. "Weapons check," she ordered. "All systems green," replied Sergeant Anita Dias from the weapons station. "Pulse cannons charge, missiles ready." Eleanor walked to the large window at the front of the bridge. The Vexthor ships looked like giant black spiders against the stars. She counted at least 30 large vessels and hundreds of smaller ones. The Defiance was just one ship with a crew of 120 humans. Her orders from Earth Command had been simple. Observe only. Learn about the Vexthor. Don't engage. Don't reveal that humans existed. But as she watched the attack on the planet below, something changed inside her. The Defiance's sensors showed millions of life forms on the surface. People with families, homes, and dreams, all about to be destroyed or enslaved. Chief Engineer Meta, are you seeing what I'm seeing? She asked through the ship's communication system. Sanjay Meta's voice came back instantly. Yes, Captain. Their ships have a central control node. Hit it right, and we might be able to disable them temporarily. Eleanor turned to her crew. Most were young, the best minds Earth had to offer. The first humans to venture this far into space. They had discovered the warp drive only 30 years ago. They were new to the galaxy, unknown to most alien species. I know our orders, she said, but I can't watch another world fall. The bridge grew quiet. Everyone knew what she was suggesting. Dr. Eliza Okafor, the ship's science officer, spoke up. Captain, if we reveal ourselves, Earth could be next on their list. Eleanor nodded, or we could be the only ones who can stop them. She straightened her uniform. I'm making the call. Prepare to disengage, Cloak. The crew exchanged nervous glances, but no one objected. Lieutenant Zhang, plot and intercept course. Sergeant Diaz, target their command ships, but don't fire until I give the order. Dr. Okafor, scan for civilian populations we need to avoid hitting. As the crew rushed to obey, Eleanor sent a message to the ship's log. UES Defiance, Captain's log. We are about to break protocol and engage an enemy force. If Earth receives this message, know that we acted to save lives and protect the innocent. Whatever happens next, remember that humans stand against cruelty, even when it's not our fight. She took a deep breath. Disengage cloak. Power up main engines. Let's show these Vexthor what humans can do. The Defiance's cloaking field dropped. Suddenly, the sleek silver ship appeared in Lysithia's orbit, its engines glowing bright blue against the darkness of space. On the planet below, Ambassador Talvin watched his sensor screen with amazement as the unknown ship revealed itself. Small but somehow magnificent, heading straight for the heart of the Vexthor fleet. The Vexthor fleet paused its attack. The sudden appearance of an unknown ship had confused them. For 300 years, they had conquered worlds without real challenge. Now this small, strange vessel dared to face them. Inside the largest Vexthor ship, the Supreme Commander stirred. Unlike its soldiers, the commander was half machine, half living tissue. Tubes and wires connected its brain to the entire fleet. It saw through thousands of eyes at once. Identify, it ordered. The ship's computers worked quickly but found nothing. Unknown design, no match in our records. The commander felt something unusual, curiosity, open communication. Aboard the Defiance, Captain Reese watched as the massive Vexthor mothership turned toward them. They're scanning us, reported Zhang. And they're trying to communicate. Put them through, Reese ordered. Let's see what they have to say. The main screen flickered. An alien face appeared. Pale gray skin stretched over a skull-like face. Metal parts were embedded in its flesh. Its eyes were solid black. Unidentified vessel. It spoke in a flat, mechanical voice. You have entered restricted space. Identify your species and purpose. Reese stood tall. This was humanity's first contact with the Vexthor. History would remember her words. This is Captain Eleanor Reese of the United Earth ship Defiance. I represent the human race, and you are attacking an innocent world. I order you to withdraw immediately. The Vexthor commander was silent for a moment. Then it made a sound that might have been laughter. We do not take orders. We give them. Your ship is small. Your species is unknown to us. You cannot stop the harvest. Reese smiled slightly. Maybe. but unwilling to try. She signaled to cut the transmission. As soon as the screen went dark, she turned to her crew. They're going to attack. They'll send a few ships first to test us. Sergeant Dias, target engines only. Chief Meta, are you ready with your idea? Meta's voice came through the speaker. Ready, Captain. If my calculations are correct, their ships share a neural network. We can use our gravimetric pulse to disrupt it. 3 ships breaking formation, John warned. They're coming for us. The 3 Vexthor destroyers were each 5 times the size of the Defiance. They moved in perfect coordination, surrounding the human ship from 3 sides. Evasive maneuvers, ordered Reese. Dr. Okafor, find me a weakness in their shields. The Defiance suddenly dropped, then spun in a tight spiral that no normal ship could manage. The Vexthor fired their green energy weapons, but they hit nothing but empty space. Their shield frequency is cycling, reported Dr. Okafor. There's a 3-second window after they fire. Got it, said Reese. She hit her communicator. Meta, on my mark, fire the pulse at the lead ship's command node. Dias, aim engines on the other 2. Ready? Now. A blue wave of energy shot from the Defiance, hitting the first Vexthor ship directly in its center. At the same time, precise beams struck the engines of the other 2 ships. The effect was immediate and shocking. All 3 massive Vexthor vessels went dark, drifting powerless in space. On the planet below, Ambassador Talvin and General Mora stared at their screens in disbelief. Impossible, whispered Mora. No one has ever disabled Vexthor ships without destroying them. Talvin's 4 eyes blinked rapidly. Who are these humans? And how do we contact them? The Vexthor Supreme Commander watched the 3 disabled ships floating helplessly in space. For the first time in centuries, it felt something close to fear. How? It demanded of its science officers. How did one small ship disable 3 destroyers? No one had an answer. The Vexthor had always relied on their superior numbers and technology. They had never needed to think of new strategies, until now. Prepare all ships, the commander ordered. Destroy the intruder. Meanwhile, on the Defiance, the crew celebrated their small victory. It worked. Chief Engineer Sanjay Mehta's voice was filled with excitement. Captain, my theory was right. The Vexthor ships share a single mind. When we hit the command node with our pulse, it temporarily shut down their neural network. Captain Reese nodded. Good work, Meta. But they'll adapt quickly. We need a new plan. Lieutenant Zhang studied his tactical display. The main Vexthor fleet is mobilizing. All ships are turning toward us. We can't fight them all. We don't need to fight them all, Reese said. She looked at her crew. We just need to keep them busy while we figure out their weakness. Dr. Okafor spoke up. Captain, I'm detecting a transmission from the planet. Someone's trying to reach us. Put it through, Reese ordered. The screen flickered, showing the face of a 4-eyed alien with blue-green skin. This is Ambassador Talvin of Lysithia. Are you really humans? We've never heard of your species. We're new to space travel, Reese explained. But we've been watching the Vexthor for months. We couldn't stand by any longer. Talvin blinked rapidly. What you did to their ships, it's never been done before. Can you help us? Before Reese could answer, Zhang cut in urgently. Captain, 20 Vexthor ships approaching. We're out of time. Reese made a quick decision. Ambassador, we need a safe place to land. Can you provide coordinates? Yes, I'm sending them now. We have underground bases they haven't found yet. Good. We're coming down. Reese turned to her helm officer. Take us into the atmosphere. Maximum speed. Let's see if these Vexthor can keep up with a human pilot. The Defiance dove toward Lysithia, its engines burning bright blue. Behind it, the Vexthor fleet gave chase, their larger ships struggling to match the human vessel's agility. They're firing, warned Dias. Evasive pattern Delta, ordered Reese calmly. Zhang, deploy countermeasures. The Defiance released a cloud of special particles that confused the Vex-Thor targeting systems. Then it rolled and twisted through the upper atmosphere, performing maneuvers that would crush any normal crew with G-forces. But the Defiance wasn't a normal ship. Its inertial dampeners, designed by Meta, protected the crew while allowing the ship to move in ways the Vex-Thor had never seen before. As they approached the coordinates Talvin had sent, Reese looked at her crew. "Listen up. We're about to meet a new alien species and work together to fight the Vex-Thor. Remember your training. Be respectful, but show them what humans can do." The ship landed in a massive underground hangar, hidden beneath a mountain range. As the engines powered down, Reese saw hundreds of Lysithians gathered to meet them. "Let's make a good first impression," she said, straightening her uniform. "Humanity is counting on us." The underground hangar was huge, carved directly from the rock of Lysithia. Captain Reese led a small team down the Defiance's ramp. Dr. Okafor, Chief Meta, and Lieutenant Zhang walked beside her, while Sergeant Diaz and 3 security officers followed behind. Ambassador Talvin stepped forward to meet them. Up close, the alien was taller than any human, with 4 arms and blue-green skin that seemed to shimmer under the lights. "Captain Reese," Talvin said, bowing slightly. "Welcome to Lysithia, though I wish we could meet in better times." "As do I, Ambassador," Reese replied. "We're here to help if we can." Talvin led them through a tunnel into a large room where maps and screens covered the walls. Other aliens were there too, different from the Lysithians. Some had scales, others fur. Some looked almost like insects. "Representatives from 7 worlds," Talvin explained. "All victims of the Vex-Thor, all fighting back." A large reptile-like alien stepped forward. Gold markings covered its scales, and it wore a uniform with many badges. "I am General Corex of the Arcturan Defense Force," it said in a deep voice. "Your ship's actions were impressive, human, but one ship cannot defeat the Vex-Thor Armada." Reese nodded. "Not in a direct fight, no. But humans don't always fight directly, General." She turned to Chief Meta, who activated a holographic display showing scans of the disabled Vex-Thor ships. "The Vex-Thor are a hive mind," Meta explained. "Their ships are connected to a central intelligence. Hit them right, and they go blind for a few minutes." Dr. Okafor stepped forward, but they learned quickly. "They're already adapting to our pulse technology." "So we changed tactics," Reese said. She looked at the alien representatives. "How your people fight wars, General Corex?" The general seemed confused by the question. "We gather our forces. We attack the enemy forces. The stronger side wins." Reese smiled. "Humans have a different approach. When we're outnumbered, we use what we call asymmetric warfare. Guerrilla tactics. Hit and run. We strike weak points, then disappear before they can respond." She walked to the map of the Lysithian system. "We need to coordinate all resistance forces. Fight together, but not as one big army. Many small strikes from different directions, at different times." The aliens looked at each other doubtfully. "This is not how battles are fought," said a small, insect-like alien. "This is not honorable." "With respect," Lieutenant Zhang said, "honor doesn't matter if your people are enslaved. Survival matters. Victory matters." Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the base. General Corex rushed to a communication panel. "The Vex-Thor have found one of our outer bases," he reported grimly. "They're taking prisoners for their work camps." Captain Reese saw an opportunity. "Let us help. My security team can show you our tactics in action." Talvin hesitated, then nodded. "We accept your help, humans. But we must hurry." As they prepared for the rescue mission, Dr. Okafor made a discovery while scanning the Lysithian database. "Captain," she said quietly, "the Vex-Thor don't just use prisoners for labor. They use the best scientists to adapt their technology for each new world." Reese understood immediately. If we could free those scientists, we might learn more about Vex-Thor weaknesses, Okafor finished. Reese looked at her team, then at their new alien allies. For the first time, a real plan was forming. "Let's show the galaxy what humans can do," she said. Night fell over the Lysithian mountains. Under the cover of darkness, 3 small shuttles launched from the underground base. Each carried a mixed team of humans and aliens. Lieutenant Commander Hiroshi Tanaka led the main team. A former Special Forces soldier on Earth, he now commanded the Defiance's security forces. His shuttle headed toward the largest Vexthor camp. "Remember the plan," he told his team over the radio. "We go in quiet. Free the prisoners. Get out. No unnecessary fighting." In the second shuttle, Sergeant Dias checked her weapons. Her team would create a distraction on the far side of the camp. The third shuttle carried Captain Reese and Ambassador Talvin. They would wait at a safe distance, coordinating the mission. "The Defiance will keep the Vexthor fleet busy," Reese explained to Talvin. "Zhang is taking the ship on a series of attack runs, just enough to keep their attention away from us." High above, the Defiance zipped through the atmosphere, its engines burning bright. Lieutenant Zhang pushed the ship to its limits, making hit-and-run attacks against Vexthor positions, then disappearing before they could respond. The shuttles landed silently in the forest 3 kilometers from the camp. Tanaka's team moved out first, using the trees for cover. "These Vexthor camps always look the same," whispered Korex, who had insisted on joining the mission. "Guards at each corner, force fields around the perimeter." Tanaka nodded. "My scanner shows the power generator for the force field is there." He pointed to a small building. "We disable that first." Private Maria Diaz and her team reached their position on the opposite side of the camp. They planted special devices designed by Chief Meta, small explosives that would create more noise and light than actual damage. In position, she reported over the secure radio. "Ready on your mark." Tanaka checked his watch. 3 minutes. Get ready. Inside the camp, hundreds of aliens from different worlds worked under harsh lights, digging for minerals or building equipment for the Vexthor. Among them were the scientists the team hoped to rescue, 43 brilliant minds forced to help their conquerors. "Begin Operation Phoenix," ordered Captain Reese from the command shuttle. Diaz's team activated their devices. Suddenly, a series of loud explosions lit up the night sky on the far side of the camp. As planned, most of the Vexthor guards rushed to investigate. "Now," said Tanaka. His team moved quickly to the power generator. One of the Lysithian engineers with them worked on the controls while Tanaka and 2 others stood guard. "Got it," the engineer whispered. The force field flickered and died. Tanaka led his team into the camp. Using stunners designed to temporarily disable the Vexthor neural connection, they silently took down the few remaining guards. "Find the scientists," Tanaka ordered. His team spread out among the prisoner barracks. One of the human soldiers, Private Chen, discovered a locked building heavily guarded even after the distraction. "Commander, I think we found them." After disabling the guards, they broke open the door. Inside were the scientists from 7 different worlds, including a frail old alien with 6 limbs and large eyes. "Dr. Zexiv," said Korex with surprise, "the foremost expert on Vexthor biology." "We must hurry," the old scientist said. "They know you're here." As they led the scientists back toward the forest, alarms began to sound throughout the camp. "Run," ordered Tanaka. "Get to the shuttles." The 3 shuttles raced back to the underground base, barely escaping the Vexthor fighters that chased them. Once safely inside, the rescued scientists were given food, water, and medical care. Captain Reese and her team gathered in the main meeting room with Dr. Zexiv, whose 6-limbed body looked thin and weak after months in the Vexthor camp. "Thank you, humans," the old scientist said in a soft voice. "I have studied the Vexthor for 50 years. I never thought I would be free of them again." "Doctor," Reese said gently, "we need your help. We need to understand why the Vexthor do what they do. Why do they strip worlds of resources? What drives them?" Dr. Zexiv's large eyes blinked slowly. It is not conquest for conquest's sake, Captain. The Vex Thor have no choice. They are dying. The room fell silent. Chief Engineer Meta leaned forward. Dying? How? They seem unstoppable. The Vex Thor evolved on a world rich in a rare mineral called novium, Dr. Zexif explained. Over thousands of years, their bodies and minds became dependent on it. Their neural networks, the technology that links their minds together, cannot function without novium. Dr. Okafor nodded with understanding, and they depleted their own world supply. Yes, said Dr. Zexif. Now they must harvest it from other planets. Without it, their civilization would collapse. Their very minds would shut down. Private Maria Diaz, who had joined the meeting, suddenly spoke up. While we were in the camp, I found something. She pulled out a small data device. I think it's a Vex Thor navigation chart. It shows their planned invasion route. Lieutenant Zhang connected the device to their computer. A holographic map appeared, showing hundreds of stars. Many were marked with red X's, worlds already harvested. Others had different symbols, worlds targeted for future conquest. There, said Talvin, pointing to a small cluster of stars far from the others. That's Earth's solar system, isn't it? Reese's heart sank. Yes. We're on their list. Maybe not soon, but eventually. The room grew quiet again as everyone realized what this meant. The Vex Thor would continue their path of destruction across the galaxy, and Earth would eventually face the same fate as Lysithea and the other worlds. Then Chief Meta snapped his fingers. Wait, this novium, what exactly is it? What's its atomic structure? Dr. Zexif described the mineral in detail. Meta listened carefully, his eyes growing wider. Captain, he said excitedly, on Earth, we faced resource shortages centuries ago. We developed technology to create synthetic alternatives for almost everything we needed. I think we might be able to synthesize novium. Dr. Okafor caught on immediately. If we could produce artificial novium, we could offer the Vex Thor an alternative to conquest. Reese finished. Dr. Zexif looked stunned. Such technology exists. Your people can create elements. Not easily, Meta admitted. But the Defiance has advanced molecular fabricators. With your knowledge of novium and my expertise in synthetic elements, we might succeed. For the first time, a real solution seemed possible. Not just a temporary victory, but a way to end the Vex Thor threat forever. Let's get to work, Captain Reese ordered. We don't have much time. For 3 days, Chief Engineer Meta and Dr. Zexif worked non-stop in the Defiance's laboratory. They barely slept, testing one formula after another, trying to create synthetic novium. Meanwhile, the Vex Thor sent more ships to Lysithea. Their massive fleet now filled the sky above the planet. The Supreme Commander was furious about the raid on their camp and the escape of the scientists. Find the humans, it ordered. Destroy their ship. Make an example of them. On the 4th day, something unexpected happened. Ships began arriving from neighboring star systems, vessels from worlds that had been hiding or running from the Vex Thor. Ambassador Talvin had sent messages across the galaxy, telling of the human ship that stood against the Vex Thor. The alliance is growing, Talvin told Captain Reese. Your courage has given others hope. Captain Reese looked at the tactical display showing the new arrivals. We'll need every ship. The Vex Thor won't wait much longer. She was right. That same day, the Vex Thor launched their full attack. Hundreds of ships descended on Lysithea, targeting the areas where they suspected the resistance was hiding. Lieutenant Zhang rushed onto the bridge of the Defiance. Captain, they've found the location of our base. We need to evacuate now. How long do we have? Reese asked. Minutes, maybe less. Reese hit the ship-wide communication system. All hands to battle stations. Meta, what's the status on the synthetic novium? Meta's tired voice came through. We're close, Captain. Very close, but we need more time. Time is something we don't have, Reese replied. Prepare for emergency launch. We're taking the fight to space." The Defiance blasted out of the underground hangar just as Vex-Thor bombs began to fall. The Allied ships followed, forming a ragged defense line against the overwhelming Vex-Thor fleet. In the bright light of Lysithia's twin suns, the greatest space battle in the galaxy's history began. Captain Reese stood calmly on her bridge, issuing orders as the Defiance twisted and turned through enemy fire. Lieutenant Zhang coordinated the Allied ships, using human battle tactics that confused the Vex-Thor, who were used to enemies that fought in predictable ways. "They're trying to surround us," Zhang reported. "Classic pincer movement." "Let them think it's working," Reese ordered. "Then we'll break through here." She pointed to a spot on the tactical display. The battle raged for hours. The Allied ships fought bravely, but they were outnumbered and outgunned. One by one, they began to fall. Then disaster struck. A Vex-Thor beam hit the Defiance's engine section, causing massive damage. "We've lost propulsion," reported the helm officer. "We're dead in space." Captain Reese looked at her tactical screen. 3 Vex-Thor dreadnoughts were closing in for the kill. At that moment, Meta's voice came through, excitement breaking through his exhaustion. "Captain, we did it. We've synthesized Novium." Before Reese could respond, another hit rocked the ship. Warning lights flashed across every console. "Hull breach in sections 5 through 9, reported the damage control officer. "We can't take another hit like that." Captain Reese took a deep breath. They had the solution, but no way to deliver it. Unless... "Lieutenant Commander Tanaka," she called. "I need volunteers for an extremely dangerous mission." Lieutenant Commander Tanaka didn't hesitate. "I volunteer, Captain." "Me too," said Sergeant Dias, stepping forward. In minutes, a small team assembled in the shuttle bay. Their mission was nearly impossible: board one of the Vex-Thor dreadnoughts and take control of its weapon systems. "This is our only chance," Reese told them. "If you can capture their weapons, you can protect the Defiance long enough for us to repair our engines." Tanaka nodded. "We won't let you down, Captain." The small shuttle launched from the damaged Defiance, flying straight toward the nearest dreadnought. It was a tiny target, easily missed by the massive Vex-Thor weapons designed to hit larger ships. "Remember," Tanaka told his team, "the Vex-Thor don't understand close combat. They rely on their neural link, not individual fighting skills." The shuttle attached to the hull of the dreadnought. Using cutting tools, the team created their own entrance and slipped inside. Meanwhile, Ambassador Talvin was busy on diplomatic channels. From his small command ship, he sent messages to every world in the sector, showing images of the lone human ship standing against the Vex-Thor fleet. "Look at them," he said in his broadcasts. "One ship, one crew, fighting for all of us. If they can stand, why can't we?" His words touched something in the hearts of species that had been hiding in fear. More ships began to arrive. Not just warships, but cargo vessels, mining craft, anything that could fly. A ragged fleet of resistors gathered around the damaged Defiance, forming a protective barrier. Aboard the Vex-Thor dreadnought, Tanaka's team moved through dark corridors, stunning any Vex-Thor they encountered. The aliens, not used to fighting as individuals, fell easily to the human special forces tactics. "This way to the command center," whispered one of the Arcturan warriors who had joined them, following a map they had studied. When they reached the command center, they found it lightly defended. The Vex-Thor relied so heavily on their ship's defenses that they never expected enemies to get this far. Within minutes, the team had control of the dreadnought's weapons. "Captain, we're in," Tanaka reported. "Targeting the other dreadnoughts now." The Vex-Thor Supreme Commander watched in shock as one of its own ships turned its weapons against the fleet. This was something entirely new, an internal attack, a strategy it had never considered. As the battle shifted, Chief Meta worked frantically to repair the Defiance's engines. With the captured dreadnought providing cover, he had the time he needed. "Engines back online, Captain," he finally reported. "Not at full power, but enough to maneuver." Captain Reese made a decision. Instead of continuing the fight, she opened a direct channel to the Vexthor Supreme Commander. "This is Captain Eleanor Reese of the UES Defiance," she transmitted. "We understand your need for novium. We have synthesized it. This war can end today." She sent the formula for synthetic novium along with her message. For a long time, there was no response. Then, slowly, the Vexthor fleet stopped firing. "We will consider your offer," came the reply from the Supreme Commander. 1 year later, the Lysithian system was transformed. Where once there had been destruction and fear, now there was building and hope. The Great Hall of Peace, constructed in the capital city, was filled with representatives from over 100 worlds. At the center of the hall stood Captain Eleanor Reese, now Admiral Reese, beside the Vexthor Supreme Commander. The commander looked different now. Without the desperate need to harvest novium, the Vexthor had begun to change. They had removed many of their mechanical parts, allowing their natural bodies to grow again. "The Galactic Concordat is ready to be signed," announced Ambassador Talvin, who had become the first president of the new alliance. "A treaty that will bring peace to our galaxy for generations to come." Admiral Reese stepped forward. 1 year ago, my ship came to Lysithia not knowing what we would find. We were explorers who became warriors when we had to. But today, we return to the path of peace. The treaty was simple but powerful. Humans would share their technology for creating synthetic elements, including novium. In return, the Vexthor would share their advanced faster-than-light communication systems. All worlds conquered by the Vexthor would be freed and helped to rebuild. As leaders from each world stepped forward to sign, Reese found Chief Engineer Meta standing beside her. "Did you ever think one small ship could change so much?" she asked him. Meta smiled. "It wasn't the ship, Captain. It was the people inside it. Humans have always been good at finding another way when the obvious path seems impossible." Across the hall, Lieutenant John was showing a group of young aliens the tactical displays from the Battle of the Twin Suns. The battle was already becoming legendary, studied by military academies throughout the galaxy. "The key wasn't superior firepower," Zhang explained. "It was thinking differently than your enemy expects." Dr. Okafor had established a new Xenobiology Institute where scientists from all species could study together. Her work with Dr. Zexiv on the novium synthesis had opened new fields of research. As the signing ceremony ended, Admiral Reese walked to the large window overlooking the city. The Defiance floated proudly in orbit above, fully repaired and expanded. Soon it would return to Earth, bringing news of all they had discovered. But they wouldn't go alone. Representatives from 20 worlds would travel with them to establish embassies on Earth. Humanity had arrived on the galactic stage in dramatic fashion. Talvin joined Reese at the window. "You humans are strange creatures," he said. "So young to space travel, yet you changed everything. You taught us that being different can be a strength." Reese nodded. "That's what humans have always done best. We adapt. We find new solutions. We stand up when others cannot." In the distance, they could see construction beginning on the new Galactic Academy. Young people from all worlds would study there together, sharing knowledge and building a peaceful future. "What will your people do next?" Talvin asked. Reese smiled as she watched the twin suns setting over the new world they had helped create. "Explore, learn, make more friends across the stars. That's the human way."